Welcome to my extremely late unboxing of Resident Evil by SFG. This is long in the making. I have not, as you can see, like I have like hair from my cat on here. He's been sitting on the box instead of me unboxing it. Really behind on unboxings. I do apologize for that. It's been a little busy here lately. I mean, it's all wrapped up and everything. I haven't even looked into it. I opened the box to see what it was. That's it. One thing to note is I bought all of this. I was not giving any of this for free or anything like that. This is here thanks to my patrons for supporting this super expensive hobby as one of the people that actually buy their games, for the most part actually. The majority of them I actually pay for. Sometimes they send some, and that's always helpful. Otherwise I'd have even less coverage, but it's kind of nice. That also means that this is literally what I bought is what you're going to see. It is not the all-in. I don't believe, even as much as we loved it, that I bought the ones that had some bosses in it, I think were kind of pricey. But maybe not, because maybe that's what these are. I don't think so. I think this is just the Kickstarter stuff. So let's go and take a look. All right. This was a fun thing they did, by the way, with the, let me zoom in a little tiny bit now that we're on the big old box here. The Kickstarter, when it comes to, like, you know, choose who to, you know, lives and who dies and stuff like that. Like, they did a lot of that kind of stuff. It was very on brand for Resident Evil. It was actually probably the last time I actually had fun on a Kickstarter campaign. Do you remember that? Like the good old days when you used to, like, read every update and, you know, like, enjoy voting, stuff like that? I actually really enjoyed this campaign, seeing who lived and died and who got buffed up and stuff like that. That was always actually a lot of fun. Okay, and of course, coming soon, Resident Evil 4, the board game. You know, I played the original on the GameCube, enjoyed it a ton. It was actually my first real experience with Resident Evil. Before then, I was just not in the right mood for any kind of horror-based game of any kind. I was much more into, like, the, you know, anime and, you know, JRPGs and stuff like that. And anyway, so a lot more like Pikmin and junk. Anyway, so with Resident Evil 4, very, very good game, obviously. I have not played the remaster. Sadly, I have too many hobbies, and video games take a hit at times when it comes to board games. But super excited for the board game. Now, they posted this here, which is great. Genius of them to announce this, I think. However, their next one is actually another Horizon Zero Dawn, I believe, so we'll have to wait on that. This is the Bravo Pledge. That's apparently what I paid for. I don't remember what the Bravo Pledge had specifically. Looks like we got some Kickstarter exclusives. And a tuck box. I hate tuck boxes, but we'll put it there with the other one. Alright, looks like we have the board game and the director's cut. That'll be kind of fun. Ugh. Anyway, super pumped for the other one. I really enjoyed this. This was one of my wife's favorite prototypes I ever got. She loved it. We played this a ton, actually. And in fact, to the point where she is upset that we gave it away in the yearly fundraiser. Speaking of which, the next fundraiser for the end of this year will be coming soon. But, as is proper, I am late on delivering the past ones, and I will not launch it until that is resolved. So I will resolve that. Director's Cut feels like just minis, and then obviously the main game here. Now, this is interesting. I assumed, yes, this is a Kickstarter edition. I assume the non-Kickstarter edition has stuff on the back that shows it. I love when Kickstarters have a box that doesn't assume it needs to, like, sell itself on a shelf. Right? So it says Resident Evil with the eye and the blood. Looks great, all that, right? There's a little, there's a little, you know, logo and stuff like that, but for the most part it looks good. But the back isn't, like, trying to sell me on the game, right? Like, I obviously bought this, hence the Kickstarter version of it. So I actually really dig this. I like this. All right. Let's go ahead and dangerously open this up. And dive in. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is actually pretty skinny. There's definitely ones that have a lot more thickness to them than this. But I think it does this job just fine. Doesn't have anything too fancy. Right? It's just there to make sure the lid doesn't come off mostly. Better than tape. Okay, so And it does have a UV spot. You can see that right there. That's a nice touch. I like that. It did add it to the board game too, but it didn't add it to this part, and I actually appreciate that. I really do. It's a little weird to me that this goes all the way to the curved corner. I'm okay with it, but it does make it seem like it blends over when it not necessarily should. Nothing else does except the pink there, but otherwise, pretty darn good. You can see some of the folding of the boxes here, right? Kind of a standard box per se, but otherwise okay. Opens up really easy. That was an easy open, and the glue inside looking great. I'm not seeing any corners that are too bad. This one's a little loose. That's about it. Not too bad. I'm already impressed. This is actually pretty darn good. So on the side here, look at all of that. You will find my name somewhere on there. It's on all this. That's so fun. That is cool. Is it in alphabetical order? Could I find it real quick? Let me see. It looks like it is. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J. H, I, J. There's still J's. Still J's. How many J's are there? My goodness. Where's K? Hello? Now I'm in A's again. Maybe I don't know how this works. Alright, so I didn't see my name anywhere on here. In fact, I didn't see anything past the J's. I'm assuming maybe it's also on the bottom of this. My thoughts. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, you guys already know, but I don't. I'm going blind here. This is such a fun intro to it. Now, here's what makes this great. And here's why I actually really appreciate SFG for a lot of these things. I don't think they always get the game right when it comes to the gameplay matching the IP. I think in this one they did great. But they definitely know the IP and definitely play into it. This is how a famous scene from the really like start of the game, right, is him turning around and looking over. So you're like, oh, hey, who's that nasty guy? And then, oh my gosh, it's that guy, right? And that sort of turning of the head, hopefully it's turning for you. I don't know if it is on the camera. Either way, famous introduction to, hey, this is now serious. And so to have that as your introduction, super cool. It looks like it's actually part of the game where you store the stuff in here. Now, that's both cool and not cool. It's cool that means this is quite nice, right? But it also means this is going to get scratched up, which makes me kind of sad. But still really cool. Looks like you can put some of your cards here. Okay. Moving on from that. That is super cool. I like that. I might just frame that and not use that. I don't know. Okay, we got the rule book here. Let's go ahead and dive into that. Who wants to go far too deep onto the rule book here? Now, again, I have a review of the prototype and very much enjoyed that. On the back is a quick reference. Okay, that's fine. Everything's really big here. There's not a whole lot here. That's either good because it means this is readable and it's not too much, or bad because it doesn't have enough. But it does not have an index, at least not yet. They sometimes hide it in different spots, but normally it's in the very back of the book so you can easily reference it. This needs an index, especially with 35 rule book pages. Needs an index. Every rule book. It is a technical document that needs an index to be able to use it. The number one use case after reading through this is to look things up. And the moment you're having to look up something in a rule book, the moment you have to do that, you've paused the game, you've stopped the game now typically, right? Everybody's waiting for you to find that, and you want to make that as quick as possible to answer their question. And if you don't have an index, that's really hard to do. Put an index in every single rule book you make. I will call out every single time that is not included. If your rule book is one page, then it's a super easy index now, isn't it? So I don't want to hear any excuses. Alternate game modes are kind of cool. Easy mode, standalone mode, and solo play mode. I don't know what standalone versus solo play mode is. That's kind of interesting. I love the like little symbols here and stuff. Very, very cool. So it's got bosses, very obvious headers and stuff like that, which is really great to see. Advanced starting the campaign, setting up, the mansion map. Oh, that looks like a lot of fun. That's super cool. Narrative events, danger level. Again, really like these very obvious headers. They do a good job with the layout here. I'm actually pretty happy with that. The text is a little small, and I feel it could be a little bit larger. I think it's almost needlessly small. They could have increased the text font on there, and I think it's done just fine. You got to remember that, especially if you're doing something like the first Resident Evil, a lot of the dudes who played this, no offense, but we're a little bit older now, and our eyes are not what they used to be. So sometimes it can be kind of these things freaking scary. Okay, so anyway, There's the board there that we were looking at. It looks like it lays it out pretty good, so I appreciate that. It looks like it's pretty self-explanatory. Again, I haven't read the final version yet, so I don't know exactly how that will end up being. So we'll have to see. So it does have a table of contents that's not an index. Has a little introduction there. I dig that. That's fine. And then the game components. I like seeing the number, the name, and the picture. All those combined help me know that I got everything I need to get and what you're talking about when I read the rulebook. Do appreciate that. Okay, so there's that. Now we got scenarios. I like the envelope look to it. That's really fun. It looks like on the back it has a campaign tracker. I don't like this. I very, very, very much think you should have a booklet of paper. There's probably a PDF, so at least you can print it. If you have a printer, or you can print at work maybe or something like that. Honestly, a lot of people don't even have printers these days. It doesn't cost that much to actually have a leaf, like a nice thick leaflet full of paper, so you can have multiple on that. My opinion, you definitely want to do that. I don't like just putting on the back. In my opinion, I wonder, have you ever used the back of a rule book like this and actually written on it? Let me know. I bet, unless I'm really weird, the percentage is very, very low that people actually use that, so you're kind of wasting your time. That being said, there probably is a PDF. It should have a QR code to the PDF. Okay, we got gameplay, map legends, scenarios. 42 pages, so that's good. It's an answer to everything, so that's nice. Okay, very cool. This looks very usable. Not a whole lot of, special rules, but some, and then the whole setup here, which is kind of nice. Now, it's interesting that you're kind of building it out like this, because when I played the prototype anyway, it was very much kind of an exploration style thing, which was kind of fun. And I think it still will be, but I'm interested to see how that plays out in the campaign. All right, next up, we got a whole lot of tokens and some minis. Okay, we'll look at that in a moment. This is all saran wrapped up. I do like that. It means I probably got all of them and none of them fell out. It is pretty tightly saran wrapped, so it's a little bended, a little bent, but should be just fine. I'll open this up. Let's open her up. Let's take a look. All right. Move that over. Take a look at this. There we go. All right. Okay. So I will say right off the bat that this is nicer than I was expecting. So honestly, I was expecting fairly retail feel. And what I mean by that, I don't necessarily mean it the same way Eurogamers say Ameritrash, where you're trying to be like rude. But there's a certain level of premiumness. I'm making up words tonight really, with Kickstarter that a lot of them do. And then if they have really retail ones, often they're a little flimsy. Kamano was doing that really bad with stuff like Arcadia Quest and whatnot, and Starcadia Quest specifically, where Bloodborne, where you're able to like peel off the layers. It's super cheap and flexible. This is actually pretty good. It's quite flexible, but it doesn't give a lot of give. Like when you squeeze it, it's not compressing a lot, which means it's actually fairly pressed down and glued well. I'm not seeing a whole lot of layer lines. There are some, which is fine for just tiles that you're laying down. Honestly, pretty darn good. The tags, however, that was pretty big. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. But these tags here, very noticeable, very big tags. And honestly, quite a few. 2 on here, 1 here, which is weird. It's like, so there's 2 here and you got 2. There's 2 here and you only got 1. Well, like, I mean, make up your mind. And then on this one, there's still 1. So it's like it's 1 on each one, except here. Only need 1 in there. So it's like, okay, whatever. Oh, no, maybe there were still 2. Looks like there might have been. Kind of hard to tell, but I mean, look at what's left on there. Like, dang. So very, very much has a lot of tag. If you do this, doesn't like it's really peeling back too much, no flaking. That's honestly really nice. It is double-sided. I know the first few ones were considered to be too dark. I will say this is fairly dark, but at least for this right now, it doesn't look too dark. It's supposed to be a little dark, obviously, but yeah, I think it's perhaps a little bit, like even this, right? Like the contrast here to have that OSL, like that object source lighting, makes it like that's pretty dark here, and it's not even realistic, right? If there was a light here, it would shine more light there. It wouldn't be so dark. Or like this, I honestly don't even know what's going on there. So yeah, I would still say it's darker than I would like. but otherwise kind of okay there. Another thing that I will say, I'm not sure exactly how they built this, but it seems like some of it isn't as crisp as other pieces of it. Let me kind of explain that a little bit. So, like, this table, I think, was digitally added there, or whatever rug that is, or whatever. And I think a lot of it's digital in that sense, but I think some of it is almost like a screen grab. Like this right here just looks a little bit fuzzier to me than this right here. Hopefully that makes sense. Some of it looks a little bit almost like the video game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not the crispest detail ever. Like, it gets a little fuzzy up here and gets a little bit more there. And I feel like that's, in a way, almost how the game would be. Kind of interesting. It's also interesting that these are two different tokens, but it's like one staircase. So they kind of like made it work that way, which is kind of cool. Little tokens of the little guys. Again, they punch out just fine. So that's actually really nice. Not too bad at all. But again, very, very dark, I would say. You get quite a few different ones here. So that's cool. And I mean, the OSL does look nice. It does. It just gets so dark. It's like that's lighting up almost nothing. My goodness. And again, the game is kind of like that. So I can kind of understand that in a large way here. Obviously, there's repeated tiles here, as you can see. Right? So some of these are kind of the same, but there's quite a few there. So we do have some dials for like your ammo and stuff, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and take a look at like some handgun ammo here. See how that plays out. I have to punch this out. Ammo can become quite elusive, so it's going to be like this, right? But we need to get the little tokens to be able to spin it. But looks like that'll work just fine. We do have some health ones again. Those punch out just fine. You can see the symbols really easily, which I do appreciate because of that contrast. It kind of helps. Really happy about that. And again, this is like your health that you get here. Okay, on the back seems fine for all those. Some more here. Some more pieces are falling. I don't know where that one even came from. This one looks like it has a little bit of a different... Okay, came out just fine. We're going to pop that out too. Let's take a look at that one if it's a little bit different. Looks like I need to get... Boop. Oh, come on. Come on out. There you go. All right, and then we got a big one here. Let's take a look at kind of any warping. Honestly, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen on these big ones. Man, these tags break my heart almost. My goodness. And, I mean, again, when it's this skinny, you can kind of start really flexing it around. But even then, it's actually not terrible. Certainly not I mean, it's not the best, right? But it's okay. It's all right. It's passable, I'll put it that way. But it's not actively bad either, like I think a lot of them are. I don't really see a lot of bend here. Let's see, this would be straight. If you hold against something straight, and if there's some curve, oh yeah, look at that, it's actually just fine. It would bow out if it was bent, but that actually looks great. Awesome. Good. Well, something moving around in there. All right. Yeah, okay, that ended up good. We'll keep these separate to do those once we get the things. Are probably in right there. And then we got some minis. Minis will be last. We're just gonna, yeah, we'll build those after. We'll just go to this tray. So they do have lids. Do the lids have locks? They do not. So there are no locks on the lids, so they are loose. However, it's pretty packed in there, and there are little finger holes. I didn't notice that. It looks like they're on the side, like this. There we go. So, anyway, for now, this seems fine. That's doable. At least they have that. Like that. These little grippers can sometimes cause some fraying, but I don't see any real damage on the side of the box too much. There's a tiny one right there, but that's about it. All of these are wrapped. I'm just interested mostly in their thickness, but also how easily they are to read. Both linen finish, which does look like it has a linen finish, that can get kind of shiny at times. But also, like, sometimes symbols can be really dark and stuff like that. So just trying to take a look at everything, see how it turned out in the final product here. Hopefully pretty good. You guys let me know what you think about this game, by the way. Again, I haven't played anything but the prototype yet. Obviously, I haven't unboxed this yet. I will, though. I bought it for a reason. It's funny. It's like I buy the game, then I don't unbox it. It's kind of sad, actually. I don't normally let it lax that much. I will say, I actually don't like linen finish on cards. I rarely... I think a thicker card is better than a thin card with linen finish. Like, if you're going to spend the money, I'd rather you get a better core to the card that isn't too skinny. This is fairly skinny, and it does look like it would crease pretty easily. So you might want to sleeve these. So again, you get kind of big stacks like this, so the sleeves would get pretty big. But yeah, definitely a little skinny on that part. Very easy to read. The white is nice and has a lot of contrast there. I appreciate that. The image is okay. It's a little small, which is kind of a bummer. I would almost like... Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd almost like... It looks like... Did they ever use all of this? I mean, they have like that, but otherwise... Even that has a little bit on the bottom. I'm wondering if you can move the equip down here and make this picture larger, right? I don't know. I'm thinking, oh, right there. The fuel capsule ruined it. Too much text. So that fills out the whole thing. Okay, I mean, it would be nice to have the... Honestly, even then, none of these really take up like the whole picture. I wonder if you could just put the whole picture there and put the text over it. I don't know. Just seems like kind of small. But okay, part of it's a small picture, right? Got a whole bunch of items though, obviously. And here, it looks like you have some puzzle pieces here. They're fine though. Again, just a little skinny. Then you have these. These are always fun to draw. I mean, they're not really fun, but now that they're a little bit bigger, again, fairly skinny, very much a board game card, right? I mean, you play like a card game. The card game that have nice cards. Play a board game, and it's like they cheap out on the cards. You would think it's like one of the most primal things, one of the main parts of a game, and they go like really skinny. This is not the worst I've had by far, but it could be better ones too. Foreboding scene. 3 minutes until explosion. Oh no! I like the back of it. Looks nice. Looks ominous. I dig that. And notice there's like the door. Oh no, it looks like it's the same. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. It looked to me like there was a difference there, but there's not. All right. There's that. That's what those cards are. Again, I'm not too concerned about all the cards, obviously. I think that reads pretty well. You know, like the map exploration tiles. And I showed a lot of this in the prototype as well, so it's not too bad there. There's obviously room for like more cards here by the looks of it, and tokens, I'm assuming, but not like map tiles or anything like that. Looks like those are probably going to end up being loose. I'm not gonna hide. It's kind of a bummer. I would like to have somewhere to put map tiles that aren't... I mean, like, it's fine when it's in these trays, but once it's out of the trays, they tend to get kind of loose. Okay, so we do have minis here. We'll do the minis last. So we'll hold on to that. That's kind of a weird... Okay, yeah, we'll do the minis last. First, let's build 2 spinners. See how it looks. How it feels. Okay, we need a mommy and a daddy here. Get a few of them because I don't know which ones are which. Well, I mean, okay, look, guys, I know which one's which. I mean, I don't know what I'm grabbing out of here. Calm down. Okay, I like to put the mommy in first. And then the daddy. But maybe it should go... Oh, well, no, that's wrong no matter what. No matter what, that's wrong. Let me do this. Hold on. Like this. Okay. See if it's easier. Probably easier to push in. There we go. And get the daddy. And oh, there it is. Okay, nice snap. I appreciate that. And spins beautifully. Love it. Works great. I'm happy with it. Totally fine. The one thing, this is nice and I like it. The one thing that would have been kind of cool is to actually, like when you spend resources, a lot of times it's more meaningful when you actually have the resources and you have to like give it away, right? And you have to spend it. So there certainly was a possibility for that. The only other thing I'll say on that is it'd be nice to have little bullets, obviously, but I can understand not doing that. Okay, for this, same thing, fairly easy. I do find it easier to spin the bottom. This is a bummer. I might have to actually, this might be the first time I've ever had to do this, but with a spinner, that is definitely necessary. There we go. Dear Lord, that felt terrible. I'm all spinning it, and there's like this lump on my finger. It's all gross. So now that I've done that, don't know how to hold it. There we go. Works just fine. Now I will say they are a little wobbly, right? They're not really changing. If you do that enough, it looks like it's slightly changing the thing, maybe. But you kind of have to pick it up to move it. That was something I noticed even when I played. You can't just like set it here and turn it. You got to pick it up and move it. So you'll be doing that all the time. But otherwise, yeah, that's actually nice. And again, I have no idea where these are going to go once they're built. There's quite a few of them, right? Because different players can have different stuff. And again, where they're going to go, I don't know. It looks to me like the storage thing was thought of to ship for them, not for me to store. So hopefully they like their storage. I'll have to figure out my storage on my own, apparently. Okay, we got some dice here. They are custom dice. I do appreciate that. It's just like in the prototype, though obviously nicer dice. But you have your hits, and then you have your evades. So you got that. And then I don't remember how this is. Yeah, I remember you don't want to roll that. And it's been a while. It is kind of a bummer that the rest is all like normal pips, but I do like the umbrella symbol, obviously. The red and blue look great together. Overall, quite happy with those. Again, not a huge dice game in that sense, which is kind of nice. It's great to have a game without a bajillion components. Speaking of that, let's look at some minis. So the tray here, again, doesn't have a lock. Right, the lid doesn't, so just kind of, it would have been nice to have the little notches on the corners to keep those kind of locked in there. I don't feel like this, I often wonder if the bag is just there, kind of like when they wrap these, right, when it's like, it has a hole there, so that's nice, so it didn't like get all big. Like you don't need it, obviously, later, so it's like, it just keeps them all kind of together. Now, this, I don't like. I hate this. So these could fall out otherwise, right? Now what prevents that is, again, having a lid and then having these have notches. And then if you need to, even an indent on the lid. That makes it to where the lid holds everything in place in the tray, and the tray doesn't have to hold the minis in. The problem with this is when you go to paint this guy, for instance, this is going to rub against there. So when you paint the rims, it's going to rub the paint off. Even with varnish, it just always does. I don't like clip-on trays like this. I really don't. I never want it to grip the mini. It's all that tells me is I'm going to paint these minis because they look cool, and the rims are going to look like garbage because of the tray. Now, to solve that, you can cut these out. I've done it before. So there will be a little bit of a bulge right here and right here. You can cut that out, or you can get like a hairdryer and kind of get it soft and then push it out. You can do that as well. So you can solve it, but it sucks that you need to. So you get 4 characters. So look at the characters first. All right. Yeah, these actually are quite detailed. I'm actually kind of impressed. Thick base, which I think helps it a little bit. It is a little wobbly. You'll see that. Slightly wobbly there. So it's not a perfectly straight base. And honestly, it's almost impossible to fix this. Often you can do a hot water thing, but it's just a softer plastic that's a little bit more bendy. But it does mean that like his gun hasn't like completely gotten ruined because, you know, it just chips off with one that's too hard. Let's see. Hair quality is nice. There's texture there. These are going to paint great. A wash will look great on all these creases and the clothes. For the guns are always often kind of hard, but just like there's some detail there, which is kind of nice to see. Often it just gets really flat, but that actually has some pretty good detail there. I dig that. He also does not have his finger on the trigger. It's kind of out, nice and safe. I like that. And so you shouldn't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to actually pull it. Yeah, this looks good, actually. The face actually looks great, too. You're getting the eyebrows, eyes, lips, nose, all that's nice and distinct. Yeah, this is actually quite nice. Okay. Again, these are actually pretty darn good. None of them are multi-piece that I can really... No, this has to be. So where is this one? Is it just this arm? It must just be this arm here. So I'm thinking this is all one and then this arm was added. But It's really hard to, I mean, it's good. It's really good. So often you can't have this negative, right? I mean, like, you have to take it out of the steel mold. And if there's metal there, right, then obviously you can't lift her out that way. You can't lift her out that way. You can't lift her out that... Like, you could maybe do it straight up and down, but she's too tall for that. So I'm assuming this was actually a separate piece. And you can see a little bit of the runner here as well, right there, where the plastic was in here and then filled the void. So that is a little bit separate. But again, the assembly, it's very good. Like, really nice. I'm wondering... I don't know. I feel like I'm going crazy on this one. But yeah, it's great. It's really good. I'm really impressed. The texture on the pants also, again, very nice, very good. There is a little bit, it's not just flat on her feet. She has a little bit of a heel there. I appreciate that on the bottom of the foot. Very nice. Like ammo belts and stuff like that. Again, the face looks good. The hat separated from the hair, done really good. These are actually pretty good quality. I am satisfied. Again, loving, like, the plastic they use here. See, it's bendy, but at the same time, it's not like it's crisp enough to actually hold the detail, even on something this small. But there's a little bit of a runner at the end here on that, but otherwise okay. It looks like she is holding her finger on the trigger. That is not safe. You shouldn't do that. Hair, again, looks good. Face looks good. The like detail on like the armor and stuff look great. Yeah, very nice. I like that she has her little healing spray can. It's always nice. All right, yeah, looks good. So you'll see the size difference in the arm. You'll see that a lot in men versus women here, right? So a huge difference there, muscles versus non. That's pretty typical. And yeah, all these are a little wobbly. That's honestly one of the more bummer parts, because you'll see it as you pick up and put down your mini a lot, is you'll see it kind of wobble every time you set it down. And that'll just be part of playing this game. So that's a little bit unfortunate. A lot of it's when they're like really connected to the base like this. Often it'll kind of peel up a little bit as it gets attached. Yeah, again, detail all looks great. Really happy with that. All right, let's look at some of the big minis. So I will say here, red is not a great color for minis. I love the color red. Okay, I do. A darker reds typically, more than lighter reds. However, when it comes to colored plastics, a dark gray, and that's right, not even this, but a darker gray shows miniatures well. Now, for gameplay pieces, this is very obvious where you are and where the enemy is, right? That is nice. So I can see the benefit there versus all gray or something like that. But even two types of gray, I think, would have looked better, like a light and dark gray versus red. Red is a... Red is just going to hide some of the detail. A lot of these colored ones do, especially the lighter colors. Just because of the reflection and stuff like that. This doesn't show up as good. The contrast isn't as good. For this, I think if you actually painted it, again, you would see a lot more. There's a lot of detail here. But then it kind of like smooths out and then doesn't. And that's part of the design on purpose, of course, but it doesn't make a lot of it faint. The bottom of the foot is textured. Really appreciate that. There is, again, a spot where the plastic came in, and that is quite noticeable, unfortunately. The fingers, well defined. All the claws, really well defined. Really appreciate it. That's important. It does look like the face, where it like meets the head, kind of a little blurry there, perhaps. But otherwise, yeah, it works fine. Their plastic here, ABS. That's why it's shiny. You'll notice the PVC versus ABS, matte versus shiny. The shiny is ABS. It's a harder material. It's a little bit more expensive, but it keeps it nice and flat, so this does not wobble. So it's unfortunate that your characters don't get that same treatment. So you get 4 of those. Ugh, you get the big bad over here. Again, really appreciate the ABS base. That's very nice. I just wish the heroes got that as well. It looks like he might be bent a little. I'm not sure he's supposed to necessarily be leaning forward like that. I mean, maybe, but it seems to me like he should be a little bit straighter, but oh well. Let's see, detail-wise, he's disgusting, so that's perfect. That's exactly what you want, right? Again, his fingers came out great. The claws look really good. Even his fingers here, there's a little bit of a mold line running across them, which is unfortunate, but they're very visually distinct. The veins, the like pus-filled sacs, the organs, the muscle. All that's really well detailed. I actually really like that. That looks great. And again, it's going to look disgusting painted in a really good way. His mouth open, fantastic. He looks cool. I like that. All right, we got your zombies, your regular zombies. Again, I like the different poses. I like the sideways foot. That's classic. I like the lumbering look to him. The ripped clothes look great. The off-kilter head, awesome. The fingers splayed out, fantastic. Really good sculpt design, I feel. And good implementation of the plastic. It looks great, actually. Like, these are nice. You have another one here. This one, their hands seem a little large. And I think they're doing that kind of on purpose. But, like, let's take even his hand, right? Like, it just seems like that hand could, like... okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. Just seems bigger to me. Maybe a little bit, but a lot of it's just the fact that they're spread out, too. I think that's a little part of it. They're kind of cloche in a way. Again, love the clothes. I mean, it's just great. And again, head tilted the other way. Appreciate that. It's still the left foot bent in, but in this one, the whole right leg is like wobbling. Again, very, very nice, very different. And obviously, that arm ain't quite right, and that's on purpose. I love that. Here's another one here. You get 3 different sculpts for that. I appreciate that. This guy, shoulder up, looks great. Now he has his right hand out instead of his left hand. The fingers here are defined, but not quite as nice as the others, I would say. Maybe it's because it's all together. Again, with the left foot turned, that seems to be what they're all doing with their right foot forward. That is something every single one of them is doing. Would have been nice to maybe have him in a slightly different pose leg-wise. They're all different poses, but you get what I'm saying, like basic structure of inner turned left, forward walking right. Again, the pour spouts on here where I call them random things, where the plastic is injected in and then fills the void here, that's pretty noticeable on them, so you'd have to clean that up to paint them. But you know what, with the zombies specifically, that's just going to look like a zombie part, you know, like it fits. Look at some of the dogs, looking great, love it. He's kind of howling. I appreciate that. It's actually a nice pose. The ribs look great. All the ripped flesh and junk. It's just disgusting. It's awesome. Really do like these. The paws came out really good. Teeth are visible. It's super important. You got to be able to paint those in. Ears even look good. Yeah, they're nice. Good for those little guys. Now you have the ones with claws. There's the claws. Yeah, that's a scary hand is what that is. So again, right foot forward, left foot back, but it's not like inner turned or anything like that. Definitely leaning more forward. And again, the clothes looking great. Not actually a little bit more intact than the other ones. And I love that the head is now like outstretched, chin up, like really lunging. I really appreciate that as well. You know, one more miniature here. Again, it's actually not too bad. Here's the last one here. Again, it looks cool. Love the ABS base here. This is built really well. I do appreciate that. It almost seems to me like this is very much, I think, a PVC ABS mix. And that's where the quality comes in, I think. So that's really nice. The hands going through here look great. The head on the back, again, looking fantastic. All the details here are cool. If you paint these, they're gonna look really nice, I think. Yeah, very, very cool. All right, and that is literally it. Like that was all of them, guys. That is the core game of the Resident Evil. I appreciate that it's not like a ridiculous amount. I actually really do. I think that's kind of nice. I would have liked a different tray. Would have liked it a little bit lighter with less tags on this. But other than that, that was it. So let's go ahead, pack that up, and we'll look at, you know what, we'll open some quick ones first. Let's go ahead and do this. So we'll do these two, and then we'll do the Director's Cut Kickstarter Edition. So let's take a look at that next. All right, we're going to start with the Kickstarter exclusives here. This is Kickstarter exclusives. Okay. So I don't remember exactly what the exclusive were. Again, it's been a while, so I'm kind of going into this blind. At one point, I mean, at some point, I've played it, whereas not everybody who first unboxed this has. But at the second point, you guys have now already seen a lot more than I have, and obviously you unboxed it a while ago, I imagine. So I hate tuck boxes so much. Let me zoom out a little bit and see what the heck I'm doing. Tuck boxes suck because to open them, you have to break them. Like this is already, like this doesn't feel good. That doesn't look good. No part of that experience was pleasant to me. I don't like it. Hate tuck boxes. And then the lid is like right here, so you have to like pull back here and then pull in. These are garbage. I hate these boxes and I hope I never see one again. I'll say that the next time I see one too. Okay, so again, not locked on or anything like that, so it just kind of comes off. And not lock in tray. Kind of an interesting take. So it looks like this is all, okay, I remember a lot of these votes. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these minis. All right. Again, the detail's really good on them. The gun model is pretty much the same on all of them, but I mean, that fits with the game, actually. Are these a little bit less wobbly, actually, on this one? Not too bad. So again, this one is the first one I can really see the assembly a little bit more. So right here and right here, these were separate and it was bloop, glued on like that. That being said, I just know what to look for there. Like this is actually really well put together. There is a little bit of a mold line on this. And these do seem to be shinier. I think this attached piece that they keep doing are pure ABS versus a mix. My assumption there. But yeah, a little bit of a mold line on this arm here. That's a little bit unfortunate. Otherwise, everything looks really good on it. I like them. This one, a lot of fun. I mean, it's just cool, right? The gun's super cool. The pose is great. Way off the base. I appreciate that. Base does have a little bit of a mold line there. Hair is awesome. This gun here looks super dorky, but that's okay because this one makes up for it. And can you hear that? If you can hear. Like, nice texture on that. Looks great. The vest looks cool. This is probably the one unfortunate part here is it's just a really big open sleeve and there's no body sculpt there, so it's just kind of filled in. Whereas this one doesn't obviously suffer from that because his arm is coming down to kind of cover that up. Like the holster here, that's really cool. Very nice. I like that one. That one's fun. Okay, again, love these cooler weapons, right? So you got the shotgun here. It looks great, by the way, the detail. Again, very nice. Even has a little sight here and stuff. Very nice. And again, this has a little gap there. They did some good work on the minis here. They really did. Normally, a lot of them would fill this up, especially right here. That's actually really nice to see. Really great. Yeah, they did good. That's awesome. All right, now we're into some of the more fun ones, right? Little silly ones. Definitely not the norm you would have. So you got the basketball player here. Love that. Love the shoes. The, like, classic, like, old school shorts and stuff like that. You can tell when this game was made. I love it. That's great. That's a fun one. I think there's another one like that, too, somewhere here. All right, what do we got here? This is great. I love seeing the running pose here. Very nice to see. Again, these guns are straight. Really love that. It actually helps that she's holding it here, so it kind of support. Otherwise, this would be really skinny, right? But instead, she's kind of supporting it there, so it really helps the miniature as well. But this looks nice. I really like the running of this. I like that she overdoes her base a little bit. That's my favorite mini so far. I really like the pose there. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Again, everybody gets a shotgun. This one may be slightly bent up a little bit. Looks like it should be down slightly. Some of that sometimes from the assembly, it'll pull it up. But yeah, anyway, no, it's cool that now she's got a little shotgun. This is like the leveled up versions of them, I believe, if I remember correctly. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Okay. Again, love the difference in outfit, right? It looks a lot different there. I appreciate that. Definitely stands out with those boots. My goodness. That's really dressed for success. The hair is nice as well on that one. All right. On this one, it's kind of interesting, but they're actually able to. This is the like a cowboy one, right? You got the cowboy boots there and stuff, and the what are the little they're not, are they called tassels? You know what I'm saying? Like the little parts you get on like the top of a shirt. Anyway, at the end of the day, a lot of them are just standing there holding their gun. But how they hold it, like this one, holding it back there like she's going to like cock it or something like that. Actually pretty nice, a little bit different. I appreciate that. Okay, we got to get the big guns here. Love this. Bigger the gun, the better, right? That's super cool. Really dig it. Man, these guys have got so many freaking like ammo packs and junk. It's like crazy. Love the canisters here. That looks great. It's a little, the detail here is maybe a little muddy, I would say. But overall, still pretty happy with it. The scope looks good. Again, with the injection part right here, right? The little plastic runner there. A little noticeable. A little bit of cleanup will be needed. All right. Okay. Yep. And again, very cool here. Love the bandana. It's a nice little change. And again, painted, these guys would look quite a bit different. He's got like the bandolier of ammo there, which is fun. Okay. Now we're playing Frisbee. That is a nice Frisbee. Or is it a hat? Maybe it's a hat. Is that her hat? I think it's her hat. Either way, it's nice that there's a little bit of a rim there. That's very good. And again, this is really skinny. So like, don't mess with it too much, but it's actually pretty robust too. The fact that they have the palm not flat here, that there's a little bit of a divot in there. Like maybe, do you guys see that right there? Really impressive. Like that's the kind of quality I'm seeing here that I'm actually really impressed with. Especially for the scale of the minis. And the fact that it's just a board game full of like minis that they are getting this size. Again, these wrinkles. Really, really good. Really good. Really like that. Very, very locked arm straight up. Again, with the runner, you're going to see that on a lot of them where the plastic came in. Luckily, there's not a whole bunch of them, like all over the minis. Sometimes you can get a few of them. So again, arm straight out. However, this time, like holding up like a badge or something there. Love the beanie and the sunglasses. That's a lot of fun. Other weapon is holstered in the holster. That's cool to see as well. Most of them have an empty holster. Love the logo on the back. And the final one here. Love it. Just arms folded, standing very casual, arms slightly tilted, foot out and angled a little bit, just casually waiting. I dig it. That's all of them. I love, by the way, how tight this is packed. Like, this is like a really tight package that isn't wasting a whole lot of space, which I can appreciate. Unlike this box that, see, and that now like these lips are here, so I have to do this. Hate it, guys. I hate tuck boxes. And now of course, because it bends in, I gotta like put one side in and then that. Okay, there we go. Ugh. Still got one more tuck box to suffer through, but then hopefully we're done. Again, they also show damage really easy. Like you tell that was kind of pushed in a little bit. Almost, I was tempted not to even put it back in the tuck box. I legit was tempted to just, if the tray locked in, I probably would. I'll just keep it loose. I don't even care. Hate this. Feels so wrong. Hate it. Okay. Yeah, lovely. This is the Fallen 5. Okay, this one. Again, you see how they're like loose there? It's because it's not locking in here, and because there's nothing in this lid to keep it straight down, and it's flat here. If they had, again, little dimples, right, that would like push in on the mini, then they wouldn't need to be locked and they wouldn't be loose like that. So that is a risk, right, if you're painting them, is these guys at least can move around a little bit. All right, so you got your character cards. I didn't show the character cards in the last one, and this is an easy open, so I'll show them in here. The last one means the core game. I didn't open up all those little ones. And again, hole on this even to make sure it doesn't puff up. These are the advanced versions of them. So again, really appreciate seeing these. They look great, I think. And the art on it, really nice. Really easy to read everything. Love that. There we go. Put them right there. Take a look at these guys. Again, really impressed that they have, because again, with this base so small, they can't do a whole lot. That's why that running one stands out to me so much. So most of them are just standing there, and honestly, that makes sense with the theme as well. But these still are fairly unique, right? Like this guy's holding it up near his head, and again, all of this empty space here is only possible, and that dynamicism only possible from separating the arms, and they kept doing that and really want to give him props for that because it adds a whole lot as opposed to having anything like really close to your chest or something like that. I love the fact that I can stick that in there and see those gaps so that it looks just a lot more realistic. This one, again, slightly more down, right? Not pointing this straight down or anything like that. Love the helmet on the floor here. That's also super cool. Yeah, well, it looks good. Even like the like badge on the shoulder and stuff looks good. And this vest looks nice too. It almost looks... So I think the shininess here is a little bit of extra glue, is what I'm thinking. A lot of times they'll use like a super glue, and that can look really shiny when it dries. It's like some kind of like liquid that they have. I think that's what that is. It doesn't really look like it affects too much. It's pretty thin, but that's what I think you're seeing there. Again, love this. Damaged already, right? Look at the face getting all like sunken in and stuff, holding his side here. Obviously not feeling great. Love that this is kind of forward and to the right, not just straight out or straight forward. Knees bent a lot more than the others. Another really solid choice there. That's a great mini too. This one's a little bit more standard. However, his arms are like turned to the right, which is kind of nice. Then he's looking a little bit to the left with his foot out. So it's a very much a forward and then looking out. I know you can't see me, but I'm doing it in my chair here. And then finally this one. This time though, instead of pointing the gun to the left, he left-handed, pointing it to the left. Sorry, instead of right-handed to the right. So that changes things just based on that. Otherwise, everything still stands. The clothes look good, hair looks good, face looks good. All that looks great. Cool. There's that one. And again, I hate these little flaps. So inconvenient. All right. Done with tuck boxes. Thank God. All right, let's take a look at the Kickstarter Edition Director's Cut. Looks like it was already started for us. Thanks a lot. Shipping, and again, pretty skinny, or thin, I should say, plastic here. Honestly, a little stretchy too. It looks like this also got the UV treatment, so that's kind of nice. Zoom out a little bit so you can see what's going on here. But again, yep, UV treatment on there. Aha, I was right. More names. All right, let's find my name. All right, I gotta admit, I'm a little upset. I don't think they put my name on here. So, right here, 72 euro. Bravo pledge. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, I backed it. If I go to my profile here, come on. The King of Average, right? That's my name there. Now it's with spaces. I've looked under both. You can zoom in on this, maybe. Maybe I can zoom in on this. Where's my name in that? You guys tell me. Because what I see here, here's the Joker, the Kevin. So if it was all one name, it'd be the K-I, right? So it's not there. Okay? And if I look here, they start like doing spaces. So spaces count as separate. So then like right here, like here's the Mickey clan. So it'd be right before that, right? So then that would be right on here. And there is no the King of Average. Right? Like it's just, as far as I can tell, it ain't there. Now maybe there's Michael King somewhere in there. I don't know. But gosh darn it. Oh well, that's fine. Okay, so here's the director's cut book. Nothing on the back there. Battle game mode. That sounds interesting. Real survival mode. Knife only mode. Enemy Wesker mode. One dangerous zombie mode. Hard mode. So these are alternate game modes there. Characters, enemies, components. A lot of just components is what most of this really is. That's kind of fun, I suppose. We go here. And we do get the tray. Looks like it's all just one tray here. So this honestly didn't even be that big. It was, see, it doesn't even go that far. It's just made that big to match the other box. Otherwise it didn't need to be as big as that. Which does, as much as we can complain about that, that does mean there's extra storage down below this. So I can totally be able to like put these underneath, I think, just fine. I bet I could do that. So that'd be kind of nice, actually. Ton of cards. I'm not going to go through them all, but that's quite a few cards here. And then some more extra cards here. It's interesting this is a card instead of cardboard. And it's smaller, but it looks like it. Oh well. Let's look at some minis. All right. So right here, again, glasses look great. The fact that it even has the little microphone to be able to talk looks awesome. Very powerful pose. Love the kind of the fist he's making there, right? He's kind of pointing it out. Just looks really, really good. I like that one. And like it's even lined up. Like it looks like he's like aiming at you, which is kind of cool. All right, holding the helmet. I love it. I really, for the hair actually looks really nice in this one. That's actually really good. Love the fact that the helmet, you know, looks more like a helmet. Now it is filled in a little weird, right? Ideally it was a little bit more concave than that, but I'm actually okay with that. Still looks good. This is actually attached to him. It's not a separate piece like most of them are, but the line here, really crisp. Really like that. And then of course this fit in really good as well, but like that is really, really well done. Sometimes there's a lot of blending with that, so it's really good to see that like that. All right, another one. Again, great way to hold the gun to make it different. So I do really appreciate that. That looks pretty cool with the shotgun like that. Again, also very cool. So he's again battle damaged, right? So he's like holding it on his like bum hand there. Really, really dig that. Love the gun coming out here. I mean, obviously when he shoots, it's gonna kick like crazy. Hair looks great. The ear very well defined. Jawline looks good. Again, very impressed with the plastic that they used. It's actually pretty darn good, especially, again, for the scale. And we got the knife. Love it. Looks great. The wrinkles on the forehead, very cool to see. Actually dig that. There's a little bit of a mold line that's noticeable through there with no hair. The knife, though, again, it's part of that ABS, so it looks really good. That being said, especially for ABS, it could have been a little bit skinnier, or at least gone to a more of a point. It doesn't quite go to the point I would like it to when it comes to the sharpness of it. But a cool pose with both hands out like that in the fist. Okay, again, another unique pose. Really like this one. Leaning down. Again, the bottom of the shoes look good. Overlapping the base. Appreciate that. Again, kind of aiming down the sights there. Looks good. I like this one. Okay. Next up, we got this. Another one where they're like holding it to the body. But in this case, like the overlap here, again, the crispness of it actually looks pretty darn good. I actually dig that one. He does look like he's perhaps a little too forward. Like a lot of these look, yeah. So they're like angled forward. I don't know why that is or necessarily, I don't feel like that's how it should be. But I've noticed it on a few of them now. This one again, flat on there, but I think, again, looks good. He's like holding his arm, and the line separating the gun and stuff look pretty good. The fingers here, a little blending in a tiny bit, I think. But other than that, yeah, again, the hair looks good. The part looks good. That's it for that. Let's go and take a look at some of the bad guys holding guns. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, this is the exact same pose, which I think in this case actually kind of helps a little bit because you know it's the same character. So I'm actually kind of okay with that. Okay, again, love these different zombies. Love all the attachments he's got here and both hands out. That's actually kind of a fun one. He's not shambling too much, though. It may be nice to get him moving a little bit. All right, next up we have more claws. I like the hair on this guy. Like that's actually kind of a fun with like the beard and everything like that. I sure really like that one. And all of these are just more sculpts, right? Just different. This guy's like, hey, what's up? I like that one. That one might be my favorite. He seems happy. Just wants to give you a big hug. Looks like you got two of those. Got some birds. Probably crows. I like this. This is actually pretty cool because they're feeding on a dude, which is pretty hardcore. It's going to be a heck of a time painting that without separating it, maybe with the freezer technique. You can put these in the freezer often, have them get really cold, like 24 hours. And then just bloop, pop them right off. Often the glue that they use becomes very brittle in the cold, whereas the plastic doesn't care at all. So it literally just snaps right off. You can clean up the glue it back really easily. Doesn't damage the mini at all, and allows you to paint that maybe a little bit nicer. But yeah, that's really cool. I do dig that. It looks like the runner went in here, but it's a little bit lighter of a red, so you can see the kind of the pressure that it did to do that. But it's not really tagged or anything like that. It's nothing really sticking out. So I think once you painted that, it would look totally fine. Okay, we got another one here. Love the belly. Love the pot belly. Really appreciate that. And the balding. Might be my favorite one so far again. Love the chubby bald dude. Okay, we got some snakes here. I will say, I know they're trying to standardize the base, but it makes it look kind of wussy when the base is bigger than the mini, right? It's almost the opposite that this has, right? So this almost looks kind of cool because the base is so small, and it's like the mini. It's almost like a spotlight on them. And then you have this where it's like way bigger, right? And I don't necessarily like that. In fact, often things like this don't even necessarily need a base. It could have been fine just putting it flat on there, but I understand a lot of them like to do base. But this base, a little bit too big than what I would have liked. Kind of detracts from it a little bit. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. This spider, again, opposite, and in a great way. He's bigger than the base, and it looks great, in my opinion. I love that. I love that this is open in the back like that. It's very unusual to see that. Normally it's in the front. I love that it's not symmetrical at all, that some are, raised higher than others. I love that none of these are actually attached, but it does get pretty flat there. I wonder if I have another one here. If it's raised, oh, look at that. Actually, two different sculpts. Even cooler. Look how far off the base this one is. I love that. Very nice. Very nice. Pay special attention to the spider. I dig that. Got one more mini here. Again, really impressed with the skinniness here. This looks great. All the detail on the body itself, again, really great. Love the freaking crazy open mouth skull thing going on there. Looks freaking killer. The little pincers, even that showed up really well. Love it. Looks great. You get two of those. All right. That's it for these guys. Let's get on to the next box. All right, so when I looked at my pledge, I did see that in the late pledge, I did see what these are. So in the late pledge, I did obviously go and get the boss ones that have kind of the bigger minis. I remember hemming and hawing about that a little bit, but I also remember talking to my wife, and again, she's a huge fan where I loved the IP, she loved the game, and she's like, yeah, totally get them. That looks like a lot of fun gameplay-wise. We didn't end up getting the retro pack, though that was very tempting, but either way, we did end up getting this because gameplay obviously is king even in an IP game. So we got the Bleak Outpost. So again, this is where actual gameplay is. It actually adds to the game, which we appreciate. Again, campaign trigger on the back, totally useless to me. I'll just have a PDF. You can see some of the different campaign parts there, different components. Again, mostly just minis. And again, I suspect this is far too big than what it actually needs. We got some components here. And then, I don't know, that's actually pretty big. That's actually pretty big. Comes in two different pieces even. Okay, so it comes with some place to put some, at least tokens at least. But otherwise, a lot of this should be fairly empty, right? So again, there's a lot of room to kind of store stuff, I guess, at least. But with something this big, that's almost impossible, right? Get some more cards, right? Get some new items and stuff like that, so that's kind of fun. Let's look at the shark first. Again, lock-in tray. Really don't like that. We can almost put a spinner in there. ABS plastic. Really dig that. We're going to have to zoom in. We're going to have to custom zoom on these. So we're going to zoom in a little bit on the shark. Again, I actually like that. You could do some really fun, resin, water kind of stuff going on there. They make some cool water effect stuff. The shark looks great. Love the size of him. He's huge. The inside of the mouth is sculpted and textured. Really appreciate that. The teeth look really dynamic, really, really good. Love that. Love that they're smaller down here and bigger up there. Love the gum line. That'll look great painted. The texture on it looks good. Looks like they're... Looks like a little bit of a line here. I'm not sure what's up with the line. Like, it almost looks like a piece, but it's I don't think it necessarily is. It's supposed to be like a scar or something. I don't know. Love the splashing water. That's really cool. Again, there is a little bit of a mold line on that as well. Not too bad. A little bit of a mold line with even some extra plastic here. It's kind of interesting. On the back of the fin there. The texture on the shark, though, again, looks great. All of this, that's just a fun mini. Again, the base is bigger than it definitely needs to be. But also, again, it just means you can have some fun with the basing. I do like that. That's pretty fun. And then you also get this guy as well. It comes in 2 pieces, actually. He's just too big. I do like that. See how it's not like a circle, so there is only one way to put this on. And often they'll have these little ridges here that just help it kind of really go in there well. It's also going to make it easier to kind of paint as well, which is kind of nice. So let's go and put this on. See how well it stays. See if I can even put it on. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See? No problem at all. But then if you need to, boom, it does come off. I like that. That's actually perfect. That's exactly what you want. It stays solid, feels solid, but then you can take it off if needed. So this is a really fun one. Again, it's just so different. I do need to zoom out maybe a teeny tiny bit there. There you go. And I really appreciate that. I like the it's kind of awkward. The detail to the different like flower and like bash petal things, that looks great. The little cracks here and stuff, all that looks good. The texture, obviously, super awesome all throughout. Even this, like the leaves here, and then the weird little thingies here, obviously great. Even this top art here looks awesome. That's a fun, unique mini. Definitely towards the sillier side of that. And now, if you hadn't had that separate, there's one way to put that in. It does get too tall, right? So definitely needs to be separate, which is why it has that. Very cool. I dig that. Put this back in this way. I don't like these are like sometimes like here, sometimes like here. Like it seems kind of random. But that was pretty easy. So this other one, this last one, Into the Darkness, should be pretty easy as well. Zoom out for the whole box. There you go. You guys have enjoyed this. I know it's really late, but this is fun, at least for me, to go through. If nothing else, I may as well share that fun with you guys. Okay. Again, totally useless. I keep thinking this is creased, but it's actually like shaded like that. Again, you got the different scenarios where you're dealing with it. Love that. Expanding the campaign. Got the 2 different bosses. Love it. More tiles. And 2 bosses. And again, a lot of extra spots here. And again, opening up top and bottom. Kind of switch. More cards. More items. These. There we go. Alright, obviously we're going to do snake first. Let's do the snake. I often hate painting snakes. This one actually looks pretty good. So again, one of the great things, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, is going over the base. Again, this looks really good. It fills up the base nicely, but then overhanging it just makes it look that much more intimidating, especially because your mini is going to be like right there. Really big snake. Again, sculpted inside of the mouth. Really do appreciate that. Very nice. The fangs look great. The eyes really crisp there, actually. The scales everywhere. Super crisp. I'm not seeing any soft parts on this at all. It's not always the case on these. Sometimes it can be really hard. The fact that this is all one piece and then the connecting piece is right here. Very smart. I think that because it's a curve there anyway. And even then, that is such a perfect assembly job there. Really, really well done. Maybe it's slightly off there. But honestly, not really. I mean, like, it's really good. And then this is just all flat on there, so then that kind of goes well too. I like that it's going over, but really only here. It may get a little soft there on the ridge. Here it looks pretty crisp. But yeah, overall, I mean, this, again, really, really good. I like this mini. That's a fun one. Get back in there. And then we have another spider. Again, I think this uses the base quite well. It does overlap just slightly, which is pretty good. So I dig that. It probably could have been maybe slightly smaller, but actually it's kind of nice to have it on the base, and it is attached. So this is like these are not loose. This one's loose. This one's loose. That one's loose. Oh, maybe. Oh no, they are. They're all loose. Wow, that's how like tight it is. Like that is perfect. Very, very nice. And wow, that's I'm impressed. I'm impressed. The hair on it looks fantastic. The eyes look good. Fangs look good. Even the little mouth there looks great. The underside is all sculpted well. As also doesn't look like it's like too flat on the ground here. Actually looks like it's rearing up, and that's why it's down there, which is perfect. Looks pretty darn cool. The only thing that maybe would have made it slightly cooler is if it was slightly farther forward. I know it would have overlapped more, but one of the nice things about this is that it does do that. So if you're standing here, you still feel like you're kind of away, right? Whereas if you're standing here, like you're not away at all. So it can just kind of help with the mind game, right? Where you're kind of like, you know, imagining things in your head, if that makes sense. But guys, that's it. That's all I got anyway. I know it's not the all-in, but that's what you get when you actually pay for stuff. Again, I do appreciate it. Thank you to my patrons for helping support this channel. This hobby is expensive, super expensive. I spent over $600 today on board games. It costs a lot, and it's only thanks to my patrons that this is possible. It would not be possible with just sponsors, especially now with this ad revenue. So thank you so much to them for allowing me to do this. And I cannot wait to get this game played with my wife again, and my son especially. I know he's been pumped for it as well. So yeah, stay tuned for some thoughts on that. If it changes anything from the prototype review, I'll certainly let you guys know. And with that, have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye, guys.